it looks wet. But Sunday looks good, so we feel like we can at least get 2 Sunday, and we're trying to find a spot that we can get a game or maybe 2 in on Friday and Saturday. They'll be here tonight, so we'll have all weekend to sit and find those windows, hopefully, of opportunity so we can play. We showed yesterday the field can handle it, so it's perfect.
So what have you seen from scouting Southern Miss?
Well, they're a veteran lineup. They're really they got a really depth to their lineup, and we know there's a couple superstars in there, and then they got a couple veteran pitchers back. So I think that's I do a lot of mine on game day, and last night being game day for somebody else. So today I've kind of watched a little bit, but tomorrow I'll spend a lot of time looking. But it's a top 20 team, and they'll play hard, and it'll be a good weekend.
I know Walner hadn't pitched yet, but how careful do you have to be with a guy like that in the lineup?
Oh, pitching to Walner? Yeah, you have to, I mean, the good thing about their lineup is they got a couple of guys you just can't worry about Walner. So that's what makes a good lineup, and I think that's what makes their biggest strength. We know he's a great player, but they have some other great players around him. So you gotta take care of what's in front of him and what's behind him too.
We've seen pretty much the same lineup now for, I guess, 4 games in a row. You think that'll kind of stick over the weekend, or there's some other things you might like to do?
No, there's a couple things in a spot here or there. I mean, we'll rotate our catchers a little bit. We'll rotate that DH hole maybe a little more. But I think for the most part, some of our guys are some of our guys.
Mm-hmm. Will some of that depend on matchups or just how you feel about the guys those days?
Probably a little bit of matchups. It'll be depending on the DH spot will be a right or left combination, but also the catching side is kind of who they catch. So right now, Dustin's done a great job of catching, Ethan.
How much?
So go ahead. No, you're good.
How much have you heard the guys talk about what happened against Southern Miss last year?
I haven't heard a lot until after last night's game. So they haven't really spoke about it a lot. I think it's something they like to forget last year, that start. But it popped up a little bit after last night's game. So I think they'll be ready to play.
As a coach who wasn't a part of that last year, how do you approach, when they do mention stuff like that, how do you approach it?
I just let it go off my shoulders. I wasn't a part of it. Those were 2 different teams, and these are 2 new teams. And so my biggest challenge was let's have a great practice today. I know it's a lot of coach speak, but it's about all we can do.
We talked on the weekend that the infield defense didn't get a lot of real tests because the pitchers were so dominating. And last night you saw a few more tests. You like how your infield's taking shape together?
I do. And we got a chance. I thought Gunner made a great play in the 9th. And even Justin Foskey used to end the game was not an easy play. And they run. I mean, they put some pressure on you. So I like where we're at with our infield defense. I'm greedy. I'd like Westy to make that last play, But, we're playing some shift defense too, so they're getting used to that. So sometimes that makes it a little tough.
I think all 3 starters last weekend, 5 innings and somewhere in the 70-80 pitch range. I can't remember exactly, but you feel like you might try, if possible, to stretch them out a little further this week.
Yeah, our goal is to progress a little bit, maybe an inning a guy. That's what you're hoping for. But it's not, it's more about pitches right now. It's more, JT again had those 4 or 5 innings where he had to sit and have long waits, and but we will try to stretch them. Our goal is to be 90 to 100 here in a couple weeks, so just getting a little more out of them each week. But it's a real feel of the game.
Do you think Peyton will be available towards the end of the weekend?
Maybe. I haven't coached him enough to know how he feels after a full start like that. So we'll evaluate him today and then kind of move from there.
When you referred to Cole last night as our closer, was that just in the sense of last night, or is that really his role right now?
No, I think he's one. I mean, I think Riley and Spencer both have that piece, but we went usually. You finish in the game, you wait till the 9th, and we just felt like the 8th with Cole right there was the best matchup, and with their 3, 4, 5, you'd rather, you don't know how much you'll have him tomorrow night, but we felt like being able to put one of our best arms out there, and he is one of our best arms.